the malt liquor project, Schlitz Malt Liquor, OML, original malt liquor. This is the original Schlitz Malt Liquor that was introduced in 1965 during the, I guess you would call it, the 1960s malt liquor craze, which is similar to the 1990s ice beer craze, because you had Mickey's malt liquor coming out in 62, 63 Colt 45, 65 Schlitz Malt Liquor, and so that's how long this has been out, almost 50 years. So it says on the bottle, the Stroh Brewing Company, Milwaukee. Well, that company was bought out in 1999 by Pabst. So actually the Stroh Brewing Company is really the Pabst Brewing Company, okay? Back in 1996, when I was getting into the beer project, not just the malt liquor project, but beer in general, I wrote letters to all the brewing companies that I could think of, and Stroh sent me this little booklet. Well, they sent me a lot of stuff, but this is one of the things, and it had a whole rundown of their beers, and talked about how, and it's got a good information page here on different types of beers, and then their lineup, you see. And I found that quite interesting. And of course, one of the beers is Schlitz Malt Liquor, which Stroh's bought from Schlitz. They bought the whole Schlitz company in 1982. And it says here, Schlitz Malt Liquor, first offered to the world in 1965, is the standard for the malt liquor category. Its combination of premium ingredients and outstanding smoothness gives this product an edge on all others. And it talks about how they acquired it in 82, and gives some figures about its market share and all that. Okay, don't see it too much around here anymore. Really, in our area, we only get it in the 18-ounce bottles. We used to get the 40-ounce bottles, different can sizes. And if you go to Shreveport, Louisiana, you'll see it in all different kind of configurations. But around here, you really just get the 18-ounce bottle, and it's not everywhere either. I guess Old English 800 is pretty, and King Cobra is pretty much pushing out of the way. Some people call this the Blue Bull, and I believe in Canada it is Blue Bull, but it's a different recipe. This is the 5.9% American original recipe. A little smoke there. As you can imagine, Beer Advocate says it's poor. Rate beer is even harsher. They say it's a 0 out of 100. 0, which would mean this is about to drink one of the worst beers on earth. Okay, didn't give a very thick head. I think I would have gotten a thicker head if I'd have poured it more aggressively, but white foam. It's cloudy out here. It's about 55 degrees right now, or a little colder, maybe 53, and it's going to get down to, they say, 22 degrees in a day or so at night. I don't know about that. Very bubbly. If you look at the old, now that's a bottle I had gotten a while back, 12-ounce bottle. Don't see those anymore. Don't see the cans of any sort. Back when Schlitz first came out, if you look at the old advertisements, Schlitz Malt Liquor, they were targeted toward white upper middle class drinkers, and you'll see that if you look at the old ads. And they even talked about how to drink it. They said you could drink it straight, but you might want to put it on ice, on the rocks, or with a lemon, an orange wedge. No joke. That's what they they suggested that. According to the Schlitz website, malt liquor website, they say this is distinctive because it's made with 6 different hop varieties. And I don't know how many malt liquors are made with 6 different hop varieties, but that's what they're saying. So I've always considered Schlitz Malt Liquor more or less the gold standard of malt liquors. I'm going to do some research on the metals that it's won. It has won medals. Forgot to look that up. I will post that down below in the information section. Let's go with the Aroma. And I had this in the freezer for a little while. I always like to put malt liquor beers in the freezer. It's oh, and we also get the Gold Bull, but that's in West Louisiana. That's the really strong Schlitz malt liquor, 8.5. We don't get the Red Bull, which came out in '84, the second variant. That's, I've seen it up north. And we don't get the Ice Bull, which I've seen in Florida. That's another very strong 8% variant. It really does have a strong roasted aroma. Like it's not just lightly roasted barley malt, more of a heavier roasted barley malt. It's a full aroma, and you do sort of pick up on those, on the hoppiness there. It's a lot hoppier than, I'm not saying it's a hoppy beer, but it's relatively more hoppy than a regular American style lager. Let's go with the flavor. You're getting the barley malt, the yellow corn grits. I'm presuming they're using yellow corn grits because Miller does most of their brewing. It might be corn syrup. I don't know. I'm sure it's a corn. You get some hoppiness to balance it out, some hop bitterness to balance it out, but I still don't think the IBUs must be very high. I'm thinking at the most 17. The mouth feels light and watery, and the finish is a typical Pabst beer, crisp, clean, refreshing, dry, very drinkable. Pan this out a little bit. I don't get the 0. That seems so outlandish to me. I can understand somebody saying, well, that's just not for me. It's too low profile of a flavor. I like something a lot bolder or flavored, or I want IPA with a high IBU and all that. Now I can understand those kind of arguments, but just to say, oh, it tastes terrible, it has a horrible taste, or it doesn't taste like anything, it has no flavor, that's just is just not true. I don't think that is the case. If I wanted to drink regular beer with a little extra punch and I could get a good deal on it, this would be one of the ones I would be certainly looking at. Now around here it's $1.19 for the bottle. One other gas station I saw $1.09. If you go to Kenner, Louisiana, about 15 miles away, 12 miles, it's 99 cents a bottle at Racetrack over there. So you could get a 6-pack for less than $6, $5.94. So that's not bad. $5.94 for a pretty enjoyable beer. This would go well with hors d'oeuvres, like say if you were like at night getting together to watch a game and had nice hors d'oeuvres, deviled eggs and all that. This would go so well with that. Or with pizza or fried chicken or hamburgers and french fries, those type of things. But like I said, back in the 60s, if you'd have brought Schlitz malt liquor to a dinner party, it probably would have been well regarded because it was sort of like a step up type thing. And even in the early 70s, they still had their El Toro Bravo campaign, the Brave Bull. You'll notice in the late 70s, they started getting more into the, well, I guess they figured out their demographic really wasn't upper middle class whites. It was more like probably lower middle class or even low class, the lower classes. So you started seeing, but in the late 70s, you started seeing advertisements that were more comical, like Gunga Din, or a person about to be executed, or a cowboy saying, I need something to drink, and they say, here's some beer. Beer? He said, I wanted something better than beer. And so they say, don't say beer, say bull, Schlitz Malt liquor bull. Oh, of course it is beer, but the companies had to be a little cagey. They couldn't say drink Schlitz Malt liquor because it's got more alcohol. They can't even do that today. So they had to say something like it's more of what you're looking for, and cagey terms like that, when everybody knew what they meant. But that's why they had the bull for the strength factor. And then you'll notice in the 80s, late, like 79, 80, early 80s, until they stopped doing television advertisements around 89, 88, 89, you started seeing more and more they were pushing toward the black demographic, black Americans. So you started seeing more commercials with black people because they realized, or they thought, this is our key area. So you start having those kind of black-oriented type things. But I think today it's probably popular with all kind of races. But then you have that factor where, in fact, two guys were asking me last night, what is a black beer? What is a black beer? And they wanted to talk about that. And I said, well, there's some stereotypical ones. And somebody said, oh yeah, Old English 800. And I said, well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. We got into that conversation, but I certainly knew what they meant. And you do have that attitude from some people. They don't want to drink I'll say it nice, like I would hear I don't want to drink what the brothers drink. Say it to you like that. I never was like that. I always wanted to drink what the brothers drink, because I wanted to see, what is this about, and let me try all the different brands. So I always was more interested, to see what everybody was drinking. So anyway, I would like you to try Schlitz Malt liquor in the original O&L Blue Bull and tell me what you think about it, and be interested. I would be interested to see what people think and get their feedback on it. So I appreciate you watching my video production.